Have you ever wanted to be really good at survival games, or just PvP in general, but you can't seem to make it 60 seconds into the game? Look no further. This guide will be a basic set of tips and tricks to help increase your level of play and have you consistently winning games all day. This is mainly a guide for survival games players on the Hive, but this can also be used for the most part for other game types, versions, and servers. These tips and tricks are also mainly for PC users for the Bedrock version of Minecraft, but some of the tips could be helpful for mobile, console, or Java players. To start, one of the most important aspects of getting better at PvP in my own personal opinion is a good set of hotkeys. No hate to all my scroll enjoyers out there. As you can see here, these are my hotkeys. Do note I play on the PC version of Bedrock, so take these as you will. I have bigger hands, so that's why I'm able to have some hotkeys set pretty far away, like the 5 and the G key. I also have mouse hotkeys that help with the hard to reach keys, like the 9 key. You may also notice I have the W key binded to both sprint and walk forward. You can mess with your game files that have toggle sprint be automatic when pressing your move forward key. I will link a tutorial below if you are interested in trying to set that up. A key that is also highly underrated is a toggle perspective key, mine being F4. Being able to see behind you while chasing a kill or running away is essential. Learning a hotkey takes a while and takes practice. Don't be frustrated if you fumble a few times. Up next, we're going to talk about your hotbar and your inventory. Hotkeys go hand in hand with your hotbar and inventory as a whole. Coming into every game, you should always have a very similar hotbar. My hotbar in all of these games were very similar, if not identical. Maintaining a consistent hotbar will help you manage the cluttered inventory you get as you eliminate enemies as the game progresses. Being able to stay organized will help you loot faster and get items quicker. As well as managing a cluttered inventory, if you press Ctrl and your drop key, mine being C in this example, you can quickly drop items in stacks that you do not need. Third on our list of tips and tricks is looting. Hotbar, hotkeys, let's simplify it a bit. Where are these items coming from? Being able to loot chests quickly will not only make you a better player, but it will also make you a more efficient one as well. Check for priority items. If you need a weapon, quickly move your cursor to it and grab it. If you already have a weapon but are lacking armor, race for the armor. Being able to grab items quicker than other players will set you up and be geared faster, especially when rushing the middle, therefore letting you get more kills. Knowing what items you have or need will let you loot faster too. Have a chain chestplate but open a chest with a leather chestplate and a stone sword? Prioritize the sword. Coming up in the fourth spot on this tips and tricks list and the last part of part 1 fundamentals is picking fights. Knowing when to take a fight will give you the upper hand in most cases. If you see a player and you know you can take them because you have a gear advantage, you should obviously take that fight, especially if there's no one else around. On lower geared players, playing aggressive is the route I personally like to take to make sure I can kill them quickly with no one else interfering. You may also notice I am toggling perspective frequently when chasing. This is to make sure I am not getting cleaned up and can safely get the kill. Knowing when to take fights is great, but when shouldn't you take fights? We know the obvious answer is when you're outgeared and there's no point in even trying to fight back. A few examples of when not to take fights, or to at least be cautious about it at the very minimum, is as said previously, if you're outgeared, if you see a player getting a lot of kills throughout the game, if two players are teaming, if you get absolutely destroyed in your first exchange with a player, which don't feel bad about, a lot of these over time you will be able to counter. For example, with two players teaming, you can always just attempt to separate them, target one of them to get the health regen on the Hive, of course, and heal back up to get the other, or being able to just combo a player who has gotten a lot of kills will simply kill them quicker. In our next part, being piecing it together, we're going to talk about the fifth tip, which is the actual fighting. When fighting other players, you need to know when the right time is to bow, melee, or use any of your other secondaries. In this case, on the Hive, we have a huge stockpile of resources, being fire charges, snowballs, cobwebs, campfires, and boomboxes with differing effects. At range, I personally like to start with boomboxes. They have a duration of time before they explode, depending on how far you throw it. Throwing it far in the distance will cause them to explode in as little as a second, and setting it below you while running from someone could be up to 3 seconds, so knowing exactly where to throw it takes a little bit of time to get used to. Talking about the boomboxes, let's describe what each of them do. We have the blue one, the orange one, and the green one, which is great for slowing down enemies, as they light players on fire, poison players, and slow them. The white and black ones are good for running away and playing passively, as they spew webs and blind players. The greatest one of them all, in my personal opinion, is the red boombox, which causes a huge explosion and if thrown correctly will do a great deal of damage, making your fight 10 times easier. Bowing is also a great form of playing passively at range, so long as you can hit your shots. Learning to bow does take skill, so if you aren't good at it right away, just keep practicing. Do note though, on the Hive, bowing is very buggy, so use it with caution. In close range, we have everything we just talked about, but we also have the secret weapons in snowballs, fire charges, cobwebs, and limp arrowing from the bow. Snowballs and limp arrowing from the bow are great when trying to get a player into a combo, as seen here in my no armor video. But then, we also have fire charges and cobwebs, which are great for getting players stuck and being able to get extra hits in while they're panicking. They do take a little skill to get used to, so if you aren't comfortable going for the risky plays of getting enemies into one of these items yet, it's definitely not required. All this requires the all-important mechanic of aiming. Aiming and being able to click fast will allow you to land more hits and be consistent with it. Both of these take time, and I highly recommend focusing on the aim over clicking quicker, as actually hitting the target is better than missing 12 times a second. For the sixth tip, we are going to be talking about routing. Routing is very beneficial in regards to survival games, but it can also be used in Bed Wars, Sky Wars, and any maps you can familiarize yourself with. Everything above is the fundamentals on how to get better just by playing, but when it comes to survival games, especially when talking about the routing, having routes on maps is very helpful. Routing is not an overcomplicated thing to understand, don't worry. On the Hive, we have the benefit of only having 7 maps in the rotation at the time of recording this video. Back in my day, there were dozens at the time, and yes, I am old, I am 24. Having a set main route as well as a backup route is beneficial to making sure you're looted and ready to fight as quickly as possible. Due to the 30-second grace period we have on the Hive, you should always first go to mid for a chest as they are tier 2s. The difference between tier 1 and tier 2s is a diamond sword versus a wood sword. Selecting a route based on where you spawned is also great. For example, on SG4, you have the airfield and the train station in 2 opposite directions. 99% of the time, I will pick one of those 2 ways to go, as I know where chests are in those general areas and I have a route for once I get there. Your route can be the same as mine or different. So long as you have one at minimum, you'll be set to go. Having one that goes in each direction though gives you multiple opportunities and avenues to go, in case a lot of players go the way of your one main route. The 7th tip is strafing. Strafing is a very important movement-based mechanic you need to know. Moving left and right is great, but being able to time it to combo someone will get you hacky-zated every time. There's various forms of strafing such as W-tapping, bow strafing, and S-tapping. I won't go super in depth as I am not the most knowledgeable on the topic, but I'll link a video below of someone who can explain it significantly better than I can. Bow strafing is the easiest, shooting an arrow and then going to the left or right and constantly changing it up so you aren't predictable. Here's a quick little video from one of my recorded rounds in UHC that I played not too long ago, and you can see how I am strafing. W tapping is as simple as it sounds. You hold W till you get a hit, stop, repeat. And then the easiest and most common, just moving left and right. As seen in this clip in my no armor video, it's very simple to strafe combo someone. Diving into part 3, we have the extras, some of which are optional, but I feel it's important to talk about it anyway. The 8th one being game sense. This is going to be a very short segment, but that's because it's simple to understand. This will come with time. It's similar to the saying practice makes perfect. The more you play the game, the better you will be, and I think that's pretty obvious when it comes to almost any game. I've been playing PvP for over 10 years now over both versions of combat being Java and Bedrock, and I am still learning things. Just be open to criticism and practicing, and you'll eventually be really good. And that goes for all forms of PvP in Minecraft. Every game mode is different, but if you learn the fundamentals, it begins to make all the other game modes easier over time. It isn't something you can just be good at right away. For the 9th tip, we're going to be talking about texture packs. Firstly, this is not a necessary step, but I do highly recommend it. Finding at least one texture pack that looks good to you and has everything you need will make playing the game and the look of the game 10 times better. As you've been able to tell in all my videos since I started making Hive content recently, I have only ever used one texture pack so far, besides for some of the thumbnails. And there was nothing wrong with that. Some packs you will love more than others, but giving a few a try before settling on one is a great option, as you're able to change when you get tired of the one you have been using for months on end. Tenth is going to be the good headphones. You might be asking yourself, Colin, what the heck does good headphones have to do with anything? The main reason I bring this topic up is for being able to hear sounds. Knowing when someone is running up on you and about to backstab you could be essential between a win and a loss. Having good headphones with surround sound, you'll be able to hear perfectly when they're running up on you. You might be able to turn around and get a cobweb down and be able to kill them that way. Unrelated to SG, but it's also helpful for basic Minecraft or the game mode UEC, as you can dig to sounds to find caves easier. And that's it. Those are my 10 tips and tricks on how to get better at survival games and PvP as a whole. I do really hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and if you guys did, feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you're new, and let me know in the comments below if this guide helps you at all. Hey, ItsColinn here. I just wanted to come talk to you guys and let you know this was the first video I ever wrote a script for, so if it sounded a little funky or like I was reading off a piece of paper, that is entirely why. I'm just trying to get used to talking again to myself and being able to do these commentary things. So if you did enjoy having a script video, do let me know. I do want to do it more in the future. I really did enjoy making this video and putting all the time and effort into editing it. So do let me know if you did enjoy the script or if you prefer more of the live commentary kind of stuff. And yeah, I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the video.